What's going on? All this talk of Will Campbell walking around without a boot and all this stuff. What do we got? Give me the quick injury update and on the important players. They're all important, Andrew, but you know what I'm saying.
No disrespect, Hardy, please. Not like Vegas. I got to shout out my guy, Doug Hyde. He was down at Foxborough for us yesterday at the Herald. I was not. And like you just referenced his tweet, Will Campbell walking around without a boot, did put a sleeve on, according to Doug later. And then at practice, you had Kairos Tonga back, which is big because the last time they played Buffalo, they flexed into this 3-4 front, bigger bodies. You need guys who are 330 pounds like Kairos Tonga. Brendan Schooler was back. And so the only guys you're really missing, Jared Wilson as well, are the guys on IR who don't have a chance to play anyway.
Okay.
So far, so good. Wilson, I'd still be a little hesitant about projecting him to play because a high ankle sprain is a serious injury. But, I mean, this is the first time he's practiced since the injury, and that's a good sign.
Okay.
Landry, real quick because we didn't bring him up.
No, Landry, yeah.
Did he get, is that a Veterans Day off?
That would be my sense. They don't have to report on a Monday. It didn't. So we'll get a chance to talk to Mike Vrabel tomorrow. He typically, gives it up and right before practice, hey, this is who's going to practice. This is who's not. This is the reason why. We'll see. Landry, though, they've been managing, not just in terms of veteran rest. He's been banged up for 2 months. So to me, I wouldn't be surprised if said, take another day. We'll see you Wednesday.
Okay. Do you put any stock in what coaches do after the bye? And by the way, I think this happened with Tampa when the Patriots played the Buccaneers earlier this year. Weren't the Bucs coming off a bye that week?
I think so, yeah.
And we're saying, the Bucs are coming off a bye. Then you look at the history of them and that coach coming off the bye. Not good. So do you put any stock in that, and what is Vrabel's track record?
If you've coached, I don't want to say 5 years, you get a bigger sample, then I'll start to put stock into it. If you're 0-5 or 5-0, Mike Vrabel's 6-0. What do we know about Mike Vrabel? He's a good tactician, and he knows how to motivate as well, if not better, than every other coach in the league. So when you need a team that's coming off of a break and been on their couch or traveling or hanging out to come back and snap them back into focus, he's the guy to do it. And when you're strategizing with extra time, he's going to take advantage of it. And when you look at other coaches, who are even better than Mike, Andy Reid, for example, that was everyone's favorite stat is Andy Reid hasn't lost after a bye week since he was in Pee Wee football. I think that holds up with the better coaches, and Vrabel's obviously among them.
All right. Do you think that John Harbaugh is going to keep his job, or should he?
I don't think he will. And this is a dart throw, right, from me from this far up. But you look at the way they've cycled through offensive coordinators and the coordinators around him. Inevitably, just over time, sometimes the message just doesn't get through from the head coach anymore.
He's been there 16 years. He's been there a very long time.
Yes.
Is it 16 years? Something like that.
It's just a year or two fewer than Tomlin, who we were talking last week about should he go, and then he does that.
I think Tomlin's been there 19 years because I think Tomlin took the job right around when I moved here. I think Cowher's last year might have been 2006. My brain's not a computer, Andrew. Stop asking me to offer all this information.
Well, look, the Harbaugh
18
thing,
years Harbaugh's been there?
Harbaugh's been there 18. He's been the head coach
18 years.
This is his 18th.
Yeah, all right. So
think about the way they've lost, too, right?
They look completely uninspired, completely unmotivated.
Broken.
They look broken. They just the way they carry themselves offensively looks like they don't care. Other than the kid from BC, he's the only one who seems to be the receiver from BC. Flowers. He's the only one who seems to have any energy on that team. Derrick Henry seems checked out. Lamar Jackson seems hurt and checked out. Throwing terrible interceptions. I would be reticent to do it, and I'm sure. And would you hire? I guess if you're the Giants, would you hire Harbaugh? Or would you want to take a year off? Just get a year off of coaching.
If I'm the Giants, I would hire him in a split second.
Would you hire him before Tomlin if both were available?
Yes. I think as much as I bring up the offensive coordinator point, and it's really, really close. Those guys are somewhere in your top 10 of coaches, top 12 at worst. Tomlin's record of hiring certain offensive coordinators lately until Arthur Smith was really bad. And if you're just going to be a defensive guy, you need to nail those hires. Harbaugh's done that better, but again, at some point, your voice doesn't get through. When the Ravens are losing big games at the end, right? Last year in the playoffs against Buffalo, you had the AFC Championship game against Kansas City in a game you should have won. It was at home. And the other piece about the Ravens is how many years we talked about them as the most talented team in the AFC. And this isn't the case there where they've got really, really good synergy. But often when the GM is in the same booth as the owner, before games, after games, sometimes during games, he's going, we got the guys. The roster's there. And Baltimore, look, I picked them to go to the Super Bowl the last 2 years. At some point, it's on coaching. And I think this year, absolutely, it has been.
Yeah, I mean, when you can see a team actively quit. Now, this was surprising, but during the Kansas City game, they were talking about the possibility of firing the coach or the GM. I don't know how you could fire Andy Reid at any point.
God.
Like, it just is ridiculous. But this is another thing that I got negative comments about. Guess what? Patrick Mahomes isn't surrounded by a lot of talent on offense. He's not. He's just not. That falls on someone. They haven't been great in the draft. Do you think they fire their GM? Like, the thing is, are these teams that have been, very good in like the head of the AFC outside of Buffalo coming in for some sort of reckoning, like resets? Are they front office guys? Coach is going to get fired. Our roster is going to get overturned. It doesn't seem Baltimore would have as much work to do as Kansas City, but Kansas City is kind of devoid of talent if you look at certainly skill position wise.
Well, they're just aging out, like Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, and then you mentioned the receivers. Like, I don't think Matt Nagy, who's tight with Andy Reid and been their offensive coordinator, would go. The receivers coach, though, if you go, okay, we had peak Tyreek Hill, and we didn't need that after he left, but can we get something like 80% with all the draft capital we've invested? And I do think there are schematic issues. Like, you listen to people who are good Chiefs analysts, just general NFL analysts, the amount of time they spend in shotgun, and they're not running the ball, not just because they can't block, but because they're not getting under center, which opens up their play-action game, which when you're not throwing it like Mahomes has historically, you need that low-hanging fruit that is play-action. We all know it, except for the Chiefs. So I do think there's probably lower-level moves, but ultimately you need an infusion of talent where they've had good drafts. Trent McDuffie, Karlaftis, whatever, but those are 3-4 years ago now. What about the draft lately? You need to start hitting in the way that they haven't, and that's why they've been struggling, especially when now you're on the back end of the one-score games, right? Last year they were undefeated or whatever it was. This year they've been horrible in those close games.
And you also have a lot of extra football over the last decade, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's 20 extra games and a whole extra season because of all the playoff games they've played. I would guess extra fatigue and extra punishment has something to do with this.
Yeah, that's why I didn't pick them to win the AFC West before the season. I mean, I picked them to go to the playoffs, so this isn't a victory lap. But I just thought that same thing. Like, when does this catch up with them? Because they finished in February, and there were guys after that Super Bowl talking about, like, honestly, I just felt relief that it was over. I need a mental break. I need a physical break. It's not from the season. It's from the last 3-4 seasons when this is how far we go. And that's a blessing. Obviously, it's what everyone plays for. But there's a price to be paid. That energy has to come from somewhere. And it feels like they've run out in certain parts of the roster.
Okay. Indianapolis obviously is cooked. Like, they got to bring back Daniel Jones, right? Like, they're
I don't know if he can play next year.
with the ACL.
Achilles.
Achilles,
It's even
rather.
worse.
Sorry, Achilles, yeah. Yeah, if he could play next year. So Indianapolis is really into it.
No Anthony Richardson after injuring himself during the season.
Well, Anthony Richardson is...
He's awful. He's just awful.
Can
And
we
it-
talk about the Schefter tweet announcing the Phillip Rivers
Oh,
workout?
yeah, we haven't talked about that today. So if you don't
Who is-
know, Phillips Rivers is 44. But what's funnier than 44 is he's a grandfather, and they're using that as an age thing. And you're like, that's a lifestyle choice, baby. That ain't an age thing. That is a very, very spiritual decision. That is based on a dogma thoroughly into not wearing rubbers. That is a having a kid real young, and that kid having a kid real young. Like, 44 is old for a professional athlete. Don't get me wrong. But it's
44 is absurdly young to be a grandfather.
it's more young to be a grandfather than it's old to be a football player.
Yes.
I got news for you. I'm 50. If I'm a grandfather at 55, something went wrong. And my kids are 17 and 15. If my kid early 20s, 20 years old, all right, loser.
So he's going to work out for the Colts today. He has not played since 2020.
He's a
Correct.
semifinalist for the Hall of Fame this year.
He's
Is
very
that
borderline.
So
on
what's
that.
that? What is the notion or the belief that he's in anything close to football shape?
I
He's
don't
been
know.
coaching high school.
That's just going into your phone and being like, man, who used to play quarterback here? Who? I don't know. Peyton's. It's been a while. Who's the guy after? Oh, Phillip Rivers. Let's give him a call. Like the thing that got me though, like this is a big story. Don't get me wrong, but the way that Schefter very casually shoehorned into the tweet of like, well, the Colts need to work out Phillip Rivers to see what type of shape he is in. The former quarterback who is now a grandfather also needs to figure out whether he's willing to play per source. What?
Yeah.
What? That's such ancillary information and non sequitur, which is the only thing that I now care about for the reasons you outlined. 44 and a grandfather?
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, it's supposed to be indicative of how old he is. But, I mean, if you told me he was a 39 and a grandfather, 44, 45, anything in a grandfather, anything below 60 to me is interesting. Conversational. Somewhere along the line, there was a happy mistake. But, I mean, below the age of 50.
He's also got like a dozen kids. Speaking
More.
of
I think he has
Schefter,
more than a dozen kids, which is what the world needs.
Yes. The workout happened, and talks are ongoing. So there we go. Jeremy Fowler says, threw the ball well.
He was sort of fat at the end of his career, so I imagine he's coming in hot. Like, I wonder when he takes his. He's a psycho. He'll probably like it. He'd probably like getting hit.
He played on a torn ACL in the AFC Championship game here. What was it? Well, like 18 years ago?
No, that was during the undefeated season. That
07?
was
Yeah.
07.
I was in
08.
Vegas
Yeah.
when he played that game. I thought that, boy, did I think they were going to win that game.
I'm rooting for him, though. I want to see
God,
this.
just it'll be
Yeah.
entertaining as hell.
Let me see it.
I don't know. It will be an interesting thing to read about. I'm not positive how much of that game any of you are going to consume, whoever they play next. I don't know if you're sitting down for a 3-hour ride of Phillip Rivers at quarterback. They're playing at the Seahawks at 4:25. If
Hell
you guys,
yeah.
if you want to spend a late afternoon, early evening just watching Phillip Rivers plot around and learn the offense, I would imagine right away. It shows how intricate NFL offenses are. If he can just go in on a Wednesday, a Tuesday, having never played football before, and suit up on Sunday and just start chucking it around.
Why do you think he had 11 kids so he can run plays at home? He's
got to have more than 11
He has
kids.
10.
There it is. So he's the 11th.
7 daughters, 3 sons.
He can't be done.
No.
I mean, that womb is still fertile.
Was he the guy that San Francisco called when they ran out of quarterbacks for the NFC Championship game? And Purdy couldn't lift his arm. Was
that's
Rivers
a good
the guy
call.
they called?
Yes, they did call Rivers.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think he's asking for? Like, talks are ongoing right now. If you're a grandfather at 44 and you got to go halfway across the country to play games, what do you want as the clause? Like, money is one thing. We all know you want money. What does he want?
I'd put a speaker behind the wall and go like, "This is God." That's what he wants. If you got that many grandkids at 44, what is he? I don't know.
Direct deposit into these 529 accounts here. I have them all listed.
Like, no
That's right,
meetings
because
after-
education is
10 of
of the
them.
utmost to him. There's not like a very defined list of like Oral Roberts University, and that's it. You know, he's with some kind of kooky cult-like university there in Southern California.
I think he's moving up. He's like, we need to move team dinners to 4, and there are no meetings.
These are all
after
age
5.
jokes. I get
Yes.
what you're doing. It's there you have it.
It's a weird situation, though. Like, if I were him, you've got leverage, clearly. They worked you out. They're talking to you still. They like what they saw, according to Fowler.
They're hanging on to this belief that they're going to make like some noise in the playoffs. If I just put a hold on everything. I wonder if they're going to try to get Kyler Murray. They don't have a first-round pick because they traded it for Sauce Gardner, and that pick might be okay now.
That makes sense.
If I'm them, I want Kyler Murray because you can't get. But then they'd have to give up so much draft capital in the future. But it's they feel like they're built to win now.
But isn't Arizona's like talking about cutting him loose, right?
I don't know if Arizona would cut him. I think Arizona could trade him. He's got apparently Kyler Murray's got 1 year left of like money, and I think that he would have to be leveraged out of there. But I don't know. I mean, they've obviously benched him and saying he's not playing again this season, which is like the field's sore knee, where now the Jets are in quite a pickle because they might need him to actually put on a uniform, and I don't know if he'll be over enthused to do that. All right, lots of interesting things with quarterbacks, but because the thing was Jacksonville getting rid of Trevor Lawrence, and that's not going to happen now.
No.
So if you look around the league, Kyler Murray, the backup guy in Philadelphia, is supposedly like someone that people have an eye on. I've never even heard of him. He's real tall, 6'6", white guy. That's all I know about him. He's been linked to AFC East teams. All right, this is a great pot of gold.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.